with chorus.
I can't do it, dude. I give up. You do it. You're better at this than I am.
Oh, really? Am I? Really?
Just do it. Okay. Oh. Sick. Dude, I hate you. I'm impressed.
Okay, guys, first of all, thanks a lot for sitting down with me and for your time on this. So, I'm very keen and interested in finding out more about your idea of partnering and doing Rockpool films. So, when this idea began, and what are your plans for the future of that?
Well, I mean, honestly, before it was ever the notion of a collective or Rockpool films or anything official. Back in the day, when James and I we went to drama school together. We went to NIDA, and even from the very beginning, from first year, we always worked together. We always lifted each other up when the other was down, and it was the kind of creative partnership that was impossible not to clock and then turn into something more official and that could have a more weight and more clout in the industry. But we didn't sort of make it official until relatively recently. But even when we were at drama school, I think it was like third year, we sort of said we made it a pact. We said, dude, we have to every year, at least once a year, do a project together, at least once a year. And prior to the official formation of Rockpool, we've stuck to that.
Mm-hmm. And as Alex mentioned, you have been mates for a long time. So are you at any stage concerned about this friendship crash with this professional relationship you might have?
Just no, it is not even on the radar. It doesn't even exist, that concept to me. There's no way.
Just do that again for the sound effect.
No, in the sense where, we're so close. There could be nothing. Business is second in that respect. But
same with our families.
Same with our families, of course. But look, so you have a better understanding of where we'd come from. It's also artistically. We respect one another immensely. Like, I respect Alex's work and what he was doing at the time, and I just remember seeing him in a production saying, I just saw him thinking, wow, this guy he's just standing there and he's just overwhelming everybody, just that special presence that someone can have. But when we first met till now, there's been that respect and wanting to. It's almost like a need to work together. So, yeah, go on.
Just to throw something in on that, I must weigh in with this, just in terms of, outside the notion of how much we love working together creatively. For me, it's like electric. James has always brought out the best work in me, and I think that I can find things in him. I just feel like we are very well matched in terms of I think my strengths are his weaknesses and his strengths are my weaknesses. Probably maybe more. There's probably more of his strengths than my weaknesses. But but outside of that, creatively, I think I must say, I feel very privileged to be in the position I'm in now. I mean, even any actor that's a working actor is in a privileged position. But I feel very, very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for where I am. And that was not always the case. When I was at drama school, you could almost say I was the dud of my year. It got to a point where the staff basically just... No, I'm just saying, look, I'm just saying I was so self-conscious, and I was so tense because I wanted to do well, and the staff were going, "You're not doing well," and that kills creativity and kills expression. I was afraid of my own shadow on stage, and when everyone else gave up on me, and when they wrote in my report card, Alex, and rightfully so probably, Alex is virtually unemployable. James never gave up on me. And James always stuck in there with me, hour after hour. He never ever looked away. He was always by my side.
Thanks, man.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me cry, guys.
Yeah,
Seriously.
sorry, man. Sorry.
No, but it is
I'm gonna cry
emotional
too.
because
Yeah.
you got. Do you mind if you're going through a stage in your life where you're exposed to new elements. You're in four walls for 3 years with people you normally wouldn't come into.
18 years old.
Normally wouldn't come into contact with, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Alex. I mean, I'd never done anything before I went to NIDA. Apparently, I had this raw ability, but he stayed back with me hours upon hours, helping me get on top of the technical aspects of the work. You can't forget that. But that's why it's so exciting in terms of what we're, because I wouldn't be here where I'm today if it wasn't for that. But that's why I'm so excited with the projects we're doing, because it's got that element to it. But even another aspect of it that's just as exciting is that we respect each other creatively. We've got 3 other partners in there as well, and we're just creating work year after year. And the projects that we've got coming up are stories that we feel are necessary to tell with strong narrative voice. It's unique, and it's gonna. I think films are about offering something to the imagination that is innovative and that wants someone to hope for something better. And they're the kind of things that we want to do that speaks to an audience of today, and that's we think that's important, and that's why we're doing what we're doing.
And following up on that, this year has been a bit hard for the Australian film industry. The box office didn't do well in some films,
I know.
And it's killing me. For example, These Final Hours, I think, was incredible. I love Felony, who was writing by Joel Edgerton, and Wolf Creek has been always one of my favorite horror sagas. So I wonder, as young
brilliant
talents,
actors and brilliant creatives, great directors, and
So I reckon, why you think this is happening now?
To give an honest answer, I think there's a bit of a vicious cycle where I think it's linked to a bit of a cultural cringe that I think many Australian citizens, or just many Australians, I think there's a bit of a cultural cringe just within ourselves, like outside the entertainment industry. Australians have always been, if you look at Americans, they're more on the front foot. Their voice will be heard in a room amongst 20 Australians. The Americans' voice will be heard because generally we sort of sit back in ourselves a lot more. We're not as quick to sort of stand up and be noticed or say, here I am, or I'm Australian, or whatever. And I think that translates into different areas of our culture, and very much in the entertainment industry, where to support that or where to choose that over, say, Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to go and spend $14 or whatever it is. Cinema tickets are so expensive these days. People are going I think people are going to the movies less and less now anyway, not just to Australian films. So if they're gonna go once in 4 months, they're probably less willing to take a punt on someone, on someone who they potentially just haven't heard before. They might not be exposed to it enough to be willing to take that punt. But it's a shame, and I would encourage people to take that punt, because I think they'll find themselves being pleasantly surprised. And sometimes you can take the punt on the massive studio film and you can equally be disappointed. So
It's happened a lot recently. And following up on that again,
he doesn't want to hear what you think about that.
you were talking about. You were like, okay. So what's your pitch on that?
I forgot what I was going to say.
Move on, man. Move on.
All right.
Okay, George.
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, that's the part when I edit the interview.
Jorge, man. Jorge. What are you, a troglodyte?
What are you, a troglodyte?
Now I forgot what I was to ask you. No, well, you guys, as you're gonna be working together now in a more like close relationship at work, one of you might be in front and the other one in behind the camera.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
What's your preferred states? Oh, you mix both. How you gonna manage to direct each other or direct yourself?
Well, I directed for the first time recently. One of Rockpool's shorts was Love and Dating in LA, which we shot over in the States, and I found out pretty quickly that I love directing just as much as acting. I've still got a lot to learn, but I'm very, very proud of what we did. It's been really well received. It's gone around to over 10 festivals now around the world, which is really cool. But there's no way, I was learning on the go, man. It's like there's no way you can do that without an amazing team behind you. I look at the greatest directors in the world, and of course they're incredibly skilled and have vivid, beautiful imaginations, but 50% of it is surrounding yourself with a great DP and great actors. They say it like, that saying, like 80% of directing is casting. I think it's so true. It's such a collaboration, and so I've probably got still a lot to learn, but I loved it just as much. James and I have found the producing side of things, if I may speak for both of us, equally as exciting. There's something that just gets your blood running when you're on the phone and you're organising something and you get this person and you get that and you get this location and you've got to you've got to get a permit to shoot somewhere, and it's
freeing. It's freeing as an actor as well, because when you're working behind the scenes, you realise, intellectually before you do it, but you realise how important all the elements are, how instrumental they are into making anything great, and you can't help but respect it on a new level when you do it yourself. But I think that's what's exciting about what we're doing. We just shot a film recently called Raker, and that was like this film noir, futuristic film. It's like The Matrix meets Dark City, which was really exciting. We've got this film we're really excited about coming up called Sons of Salt. Do you want to talk about Sons?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Which again is very, very different. We certainly are not sort of you wouldn't pigeonhole us stylistically anywhere, I don't think, without breaking the shelf. It's definitely an eclectic group of people and group of imaginations. So Sons of Salt is a crime drama, and it's so, we've always believed in each other 100%, but it's really nice to have someone come along. It's almost a bit of validation. I think all artists are susceptible a bit to that, we try not to be. We try to just be focused on the craft, and it's an external focus, and it's an expression of our artistry. So it's a selfless thing. It should be a selfless thing, but we all can sometimes get a bit of a need for validation, and it was very nice for us. So we've been Sons of Salt. The script has been in development for a while, and Adam Schroeder, who you would know of, who did Chronicle and Sleepy Hollow and all these things, Truman Show. I love that. I've worked with him subsequently. From Chronicle, we've done stuff since then, and he actually, David O'Donnell, the writer, we gave it to Adam just because we wanted his notes, and he actually proposed he wanted to be the one involved with us. So he's our executive producer now, and I suppose it's really nice to kind of have someone on board that believes in all these great artists that I've surrounded myself with. It's nice to have that too, The
story's sick. It's amazing. It's such a good story. It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Can't wait for that. Some icons like John Jarrett from Wolf Creek, and also your old boss Kimber Randall, claim that one of the problems here is that there are not many genre films. So I wonder, what is your take on that?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Genre films.
Genre films. Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Just because I can understand them wanting more genre films, and I would stand up and salute them for it. I would love to see them make more of those films. But I don't know if that's necessarily the center of the problem. I think it was more along the lines of what I was talking about before. I think it's got to do with the cultural cringe amongst Australians and a lack of willingness to kind of take a risk. There's something, so like my parents, for instance, that they really appreciate art, but they work very, very hard. They work really long hours, and when they get home at the end of the day, they most of the time just want to relax and watch something that can just sort of entertain them and whatever. And the majority of Australian films produce very challenging content to the audience. They produce confronting content, and they produce and I think that could be, and I'm not saying it's a problem, I think it's admirable, but I just think that one of the issues is there's a disconnect where Australian audiences, they might just want to relax, they might just want to guarantee that they're going to get their Will Smith and their explosion and their this and that, and you know, something that goes nicely with their popcorn. I think that they probably want a guarantee they're going to get that over challenging content that they may or may not, you know, enjoy.
Fantastic. You agree with that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, I love Will Ferrell. I can watch anything.
Yeah, I mean, we love those movies.
I can watch anything that guy's in. You know, he's one funny dude. And John C Reilly. Do you like John C?
Yeah.
Like, that he's so, I don't know if he's underrated. I think a lot of people respect him, but he's just amazing. Like, I could sit there and just watch him be silly for hours. Yeah. He's an incredible actor as well. But you know, it's well, we can.
No, go.
No. I was just saying, sometimes you just want to watch something mindless, and I think when we get caught up in what we do at times, we can and sometimes I feel, I say this humbly, but we can overthink things a bit, and you know, it's just entertainment at the end of the day, and it's just making people smile or feel a certain way, and there's art in that, and the simplicity of it.
Regarding John C Reilly, if you haven't seen it, watch Dr. Steve Brule. Look it up. Look it up on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah, I watch it. Yeah, he's the best.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I'm agree with that.
Okay.
I actually asked him about that once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when he was with the Wreck-It Ralph premiere. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I also asked him about the Step Brothers
Dr.
too.
Steve Brule.
Yeah. A broad.
Brown.
We're gonna
Dr.
jump on this broad.
Yeah.
It says, what is your favorite food?
Pizza.
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 He puts like the R's in.
Yeah. Being cut.
Got a rabbit up.
Oh, damn it.
I'm not sure.
I have to ask you before we close about your experience working with Josh Trank in Chronicle and in Angelina in Unbroken. So what you can share with us about those experiences?
Well, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, it was me. Well, working with, you've already spoken to Josh, and you know that he is, a fanboy, and amongst us nerds, I can say I'm something of a nerd too. Maybe not as much as him, but his commitment, I think, to telling a story uniquely, and then his imagination, you know, it's something that was, I'd never read a script like Chronicle before, and I was immediately, I was immediately hooked, and being on set with those guys was incredible. Josh had a really specific vision. He was there every single day. I would get, if I ever was worried about anything, he'd come up to me and say, I won't let you fall. So he was always there, and I suppose, you know, knowing that he had come up with that sitting on his couch, he had this vision of 3 kids playing football in the sky, like flying around playing gridiron. And I think that to have that idea and then to expand it the way he did takes immense talent. So I'm indebted to him for casting me in that, because it grew me so much as an artist.
Sequel?
What's that?
Sequel?
One can only hope. But I don't know. We're still waiting to hear on that. So yeah.
Is he been in touch with you for all his future projects? He's working in Venom, apparently, the Red Star, Shadow of Colossus.
Well, there was a time when Fantastic Four, because he's got that coming out soon. I suppose I sort of it's the Human Torch, right? Yeah, I had my eye on that, but I think Michael B. Jordan was sort of, you know, you can't resist that smile. So I would have cast him too, and so I would have over me. But yeah, look, I would love to work with him again. That would be great. I think he's got immense imagination.
And Unbroken, how is Angelina on set as a boss?
Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, for me, it's an honour because and I've given you the book, but the book, without sounding cliche, changed my life and was a really huge thing for me. I think Louis Zamperini is an example to all of us how well you can live your life, because if we can all live with an eighth as much grace and compassion and beauty and willingness to let go of negativity, we're in for a real treat, you know. And
Sorry, Al, and just looking at the beautiful, what life has to offer that's beautiful in light of the most disastrous things that could happen to any one human being. But go on, what were you saying?
I mean, for me, it's an incredible story of survival, of course, but it's not just what someone can go through and come out the other side. It's how they come out the other side. Louis Zamperini was learning to skateboard in his 70s type thing. And I know that to Angelina, it was, you know, he was her personal hero. And I think that she was so dedicated to telling his story to the best of her ability. It was very clear every day on set. And plus, actor come directors, I find it pretty grand to work with, because they know how we work psychologically. So it was a treat, man.
Fantastic. Well, guys,
Yeah.
I really appreciate the time, and it's been great.
Yeah, thanks
So,
so much, dude.
nice to see you.
Much.
Yeah,
See
thanks.
you. Lovely meeting you.